in the crown of Irish rallying. It's the only 3-day event on the island. It's that maximum entry with the creme de la creme of Irish rallying. Yes, the excitement is palpable here in Donegal for the 2018 Dual Donegal International Rally.
The Donegal International, Ireland's only remaining 3-day rally, has attracted one of the biggest and best lineups in years, with a mixture of World Rally and R5 cars that is second to none so far this season. Previous winners in Donegal reads like a who's who of Irish and international rallying, ranging from the likes of Ari Vatanen to Jimmy McRae through to Sebastian Loeb, and domestic legends such as Billy Coleman, Austin McHale and Eugene Donnelly. In all, there are 20 stages to be traversed over the 3 testing days of rallying over some of the island's most iconic special stages.
We're looking forward to getting out again. It's great to be back in the home rally and carrying number 1 again. It's lovely, and the last couple of years has been brilliant, so we're looking forward to seeing what we can do this year.
Donna, you came so close to taking the win here last year. Close but no cigar. How are you feeling about it today?
We know we can do it, and feeling confident, not focusing on the outcome, just getting into each stage and doing our best.
Declan, the word is out. If you win here this weekend, we're all going to the cavern for a celebratory drink.
Definitely, so it'll be a free bar at the cavern if I won this rally, no bother.
I'm going to have to bed myself in this morning, but I don't think the rest of these boys are going to bed themselves in, so you can expect a lot of action in the first 3 stages.
The Donegal round of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship will essentially be an event of 2 parts, pitting the World Rally cars against the new generation R5 machines, driven by the young lions of Irish rally drivers, and the latter ones are the ones that can score championship points, while the World Rally Championship drivers can still claim overall honours.
Sam, you're our 2017 champion and holding 3rd in the overall championship at the moment.
Yeah, we're 3rd and we're not too far away, so big push this weekend.
Sam has been quick here previously, and so has Josh, so our experience in this event will be quite limited, so but I think the weather's going to play a vital part in the whole thing now, so we're just going to have to get stuck in and see what happens.
We're only ahead by a point or 2 there, but there's a long, difficult weekend ahead of us all there, so hopefully it goes our way.
And Breed is going to be taking over proceedings from Sunday. Breed, such an exciting weekend.
It is. It's the one date in the calendar that anyone involved in rallying puts into their diary. It's a difficult rally. It's 300 kilometres over 20 stages, and it's anyone's guess who is going to be at the top of the leaderboard come Sunday evening. So we're really looking forward to an intense battle here.
And we're going to see how the action unfolded on day 1 and the battles over the opening 6 stages as Manus Kelly prepared for his opening salvos. Inclement conditions in the early part of day 1 and Manus Kelly settles in. The Subaru driver was quickest on stage 1 but spun and stalled on stage 2, losing the overall lead to the focus of Donna Kelly.
Absolute left on crest, don't cut it. And then an absolute crest, 40. Absolute crest again, 150. Absolute 1 right, 150. 1 right and then a 2 right at the fence.
Manus Kelly had a clean run after that and retook the lead on stage 5 and led at the end of the opening 6 by 9.3 seconds. Donna Kelly, a former Irish Tarmac Championship winner, had never won his home event, and he took over the lead on stage 2 with Manus Kelly relegated to 5th due to his spin and stall. The roads on the early part of the opening day were treacherous and they began to take their toll. Donna Kelly was the first big accident as he went off the road on stage 3, Letter League. Kelly got stuck in a ditch and out on day 1. Thankfully, both he and co-driver Conor Foley none the worse for this off. Declan Boyle was looking to add to his 2014 win on his home event in his Ford Fiesta World Rally car. Boyle slowed at the scene of Donna Kelly's off and lost a lot of time, but was eventually given the same time as Manus Kelly on stage 3. James O'Reilly calling the notes on the left-hand drive Fiesta, and at the end of day 1, Boyle was second to Manus Kelly, less than 10 seconds off the lead.
150 to 5 right over big crest, big cut. 5 right and 1 left, 40, 5 left through the bump. An absolute 4 right, flowing user road.
it was good to see Darren Gass and Enda Sherry back out on the Donegal stages. Gass and Sherry won the 2012 Irish Tarmac Series, but had yet to win in Donegal. The pair had a good opening loop, found the early conditions tricky. Gass overshot on stage 6, led a league second time around, and at the end of 6 he was third, 23.9 seconds off Manus Kelly's lead. Gary Jennings is another former champion. He won Donegal twice in 2012 and 2015, and he's back in the Northwest in the Impreza. Jennings took the lead on stage 3, which he held in stage 5 when he clipped a rock and punctured a tyre. He then drove for some 7 kilometres on 3 wheels and felt lucky, he said, to lose only 30 seconds. At the end of 6 was now 4th, but a mere 2 seconds off Gass and 25.2 seconds off the lead. We turn now to the R5 class and the battle for the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. Sam Moffat, the defending champion, was 5th overall after 6 and the leader of the R5 category, which can only score series points as the WRCs are excluded. Sam said he could improve on his commitment levels and leave his braking a little later. Not easy though on a soft brake pedal in changeable conditions.
And 5 left, tightens to 4. And push. Oh, push 5 right in. 80. 6 left. 100.
Championship leader Josh Moffat admitted to 1 or 2 moments on the early stages, but was happy enough to be second to his brother in R5 after the opening 6 stages. Josh had an unhappy and difficult rally at the Lakes. He was looking to make up for that in Donegal. Desi Henry, 5th in the championship standings, said he found it hard to get into it and wasn't helped when his Fabia hit a chicane on stage 3. Mechanical trouble on stage 5 forced Henry into Rally 2, but he eventually retired the Fabia, and with it his championship aspirations all but expired. Kerryman Robert Duggan, a former Motorsport Ireland Young Rally Driver of the Year recipient, was in an R5 Fiesta for the first time. Duggan took a while to get used to the car, and a brake fade hampered his progress. Nevertheless, he was a surprise third in R5, 7.3 seconds off Josh Moffat after 6 stages.
80, flat sharp 5 left and right, and 5 left into 6 right, 150.
We had a good run through. We didn't think we'd be anywhere close to the boys, but we'd brake fade in that one, so just wasn't confident coming down the end. But yeah, we'll get back to service now, tweak a few things, and hopefully we'll get a few times later on in the evening.
Another R5 debutant, Callum Devine, a former British Junior Rally champion. And this year Devine is competing on the World Championship, where he finished 6th on the snow in Sweden in February. Then 5th in France, before unfortunately crashing out of the last round in Portugal while lying in 2nd place on the final day. He was 4th in R5 at the end of day 1 in Donegal.
6 right over crest, 250 all the way up the middle to lane, 4 right plus over crest at the top. It's away on up at the top, 4 right plus over crest, 120 up to turn square right minus.
Really enjoying it, hey, just trying to get used to the brakes and the handling of the car, because obviously we had a wee short test in it, so yeah, we're enjoying it, hey, and we're getting faster anyway, that's the main thing.
Having won in Killarney to reignite his championship challenge, Robert Barrable just couldn't get into a rhythm over the opening 6 stages. Perhaps the lack of experience in Donegal was a factor, and unlike Kerry, where he was very much at home in the Fiesta, here it was a different story. And after 6, the Dubliner was 5th in R5, 4.4 seconds off Callum Devine.
4 right past junction, 5 left, keep in, 60, 4 right over crest, okay, into right over crest, 100.
Donegal's Joe McGonigal was running in a BMW Mini World Rally car for Donegal and was enjoying the stages, but he did have a few slides in his Mini. After the opening 6 stages, he was 5th in the WRC standings and 10th overall, 11.7 seconds off Barrable. Jonathan Greer and Kirsty Riddick were another of the R5 brigade, and they reported some brake issues for the opening loop of 3 stages. That problem was fixed in service, and their Fiesta was closer to the top times on the second run of 3. At the end of 6, they were 6th in R5. Eugene Donnelly has won 3 Donegal international titles in 2004, 2005 and 2008, and was another to fall behind on the opening loop in his Hyundai i20. It's a car-tire combination that is still very much under development for the Genie. And we move on to day 2 of this year's dual Donegal International. In all, there are 8 stages on day 2 to take us to 14 runs in Ireland's most demanding rally, which attracts tens of thousands of spectators and which brings in millions to boost the local economy of Donegal. The famous Knockalla stage will be traversed twice on day 2. The Donegal Motor Club once again ran a bus service to shuttle spectators up and down to the fan-friendly zones, and there were plenty of them taking advantage of that service. Now back to the serious stuff and the runs over 7 to 10, and the overnight leader Manus Kelly started stage 8, having already increased his lead on stage 7. And by the end of 10 stages, the Impreza driver now led by 10.4 seconds as he climbed up the Knockalla stage in his Subaru. Declan Boyle was still second after stage 7 Carnhill, but over 16 seconds off Kelly. Boyle then broke a half shaft off the line on the Knockalla stage and then retired. His bid for a second Donegal win was over on day 2. A real shame for the Donegal driver on his home event. The fastest man on the early stage of day 2 was Gary Jennings, the 2013 Irish Tarmac champion. He was closing in on Manus Kelly. Up to second now, and happy with his run as he stood just over 10 seconds behind the leader after 10 stages. This, though, was the last we would see of Darren Gass as Donegal began to take its toll on the front runners. Gass crashed out on special stage 9 Carnhill. A real shame for him too, as he was beginning to close in on Manus Kelly's lead. Josh Moffat was now the leading championship runner. He was held up at the scene of Gass's accident, and at the end of 10, Josh Moffat was third. But more importantly, he was now leading the R5 class, 6.3 seconds ahead. Sam Moffat was now behind his brother, second in R5. The brothers are a tight-knit pair, and Sam won all 3 Irish Championships last season. Was Sam riding shotgun for his younger sibling was the question. Or was Josh really on his game after a disappointing rally at the Lakes? The stages were now beginning to dry out. Rob Duggan was continuing to impress on his debut in the R5. After 10 stages, the Kerryman was third in R5, 23.9 seconds off Sam Moffat. A clean run over 7, 8, 9 and 10 for Callum Devine, another driver on his R5 debut, and 29.4 seconds off Duggan. Let's hope we see more of Duggan and Devine in the class on the Ulster and Cork 20 rallies.
Into fast 3 left, continues over crest, into slight right, 160 down the middle, slowing 4 right, nips to 3 right, it continues for 80, keep okay.
It was a disastrous weekend for Robert Barrable. In with a shout of the championship after his win in Kerry, the Dubliner was closing in on Devine and was just over a second behind him after 9 stages. However, Barrable crashed out on stage 10 Knockalla, ending his rally, and with it he lost a haul of championship points. The retirements were beginning to mount up now, and this is becoming a rally of attrition. Joe McGonigal was also out on stage 10 Knockalla. So, 10 stages down on this year's Donegal International. It's Manus Kelly who leads. Second, Gary Jennings. Josh Moffat leads R5 ahead of Sam Moffat, and Rob Duggan up to third place. We're back with the remaining stages on day 2 and a look at day 3 of the Donegal International after this break. Welcome back to the 2018 Dual Donegal International Rally and the remaining stages on day 1 and the final 6 stages on the final day of this gruelling 3-day event, round 4 of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. The weather's now starting to play ball, the stages are beginning to dry out. Manus Kelly continues to lead his home event in the Subaru Impreza as he bids for the hat-trick of Donegal wins. At the end of 14 stages and day 2 of the event, his lead stood at 1 minute and 21 seconds, but it was a very good explanation as to why Manus Kelly had grown such a substantial overall lead. That was because Gary Jennings, only just over 10 seconds off the lead at one point, was pushed too hard in pursuit of Kelly and slipped off the road and out of the rally on stage 11. Now second and leading the R5 Championship standings at the end of 14 stages was Josh Moffat in the Fiesta, keeping it tidy to lead the class by 12.8 seconds. Sam Moffat had an off-road moment and damaged the front right of his Fiesta on stage 11. He also had accelerator issues on stage 12, but at the end of 14 he was still going. He trailed his brother Josh by 12.8 seconds. Rob Duggan admitted he'd struggled changing from wet to dry setup and had a couple of spins on the last 4 stages of day 2. He was still in the R5 mix, third in class after 14, 22.2 seconds behind Sam Moffat.
Middle over crest, 130, turn square left, narrow exit, don't cut. Tidy now. 300.
Phones at the ready for the appearance of Callum Devine, who also had a spin, but was still going strong, and his R5 debut was coming to fruition. After 2 days of intense rallying, Devine was 5th overall and 4th in the R5 class, 44.6 seconds off Duggan.
And crest, a short 3 right through the dip, into slide right over crest, 140 up the middle, middle over crest, 70, 5 left in over the junction, go, 180 down the middle.
And on to day 3 we go, with the remaining 6 stages to be completed on this year's event. Classic stages of Fanet, Atlantic Drive and Glen repeated before the winners and the remaining crews make it back to the finish ramp at the Mount Errigal Hotel. Manus Kelly admitted he was feeling the pressure to bring it home. He was taking no chances, especially as all the WRC contenders around him had vanished. After 17, his overall lead stood at 1 minute 10.3 seconds. Donald Barrett is Manus Kelly's co-driver.
Absolute 1 left, 200, brake before the 2 left. Remember, it's very slippy up here, Kelly. 2 left and a 5 right. Absolute 3 left there, come.
Behind there was a turn-up as Sam Moffat now emerged into second place and was now the leading car in the R5 class. He found most challenging conditions on the opening stages of day 3, but was happy with his tyre choice as he overtook younger brother Josh. Would he stay there on the remaining stages was the question.
5 left plus, 5 left plus, 150, 6 left, 80, 6 right, 60, push lead, 5 right, 40, flat, 5 right plus, okay, 100 to 4 left minus.
Josh Moffat had a lucky escape after a big moment on stage 16 Atlantic Drive, and he lost the R5 lead to Sam as a result. The Monaghan driver, who's also chasing the Irish Forestry title in 2018, is now 3.2 seconds off his brother with 3 stages remaining. A brave tyre choice worked on stage 15 for Rob Duggan, but not so much on 16 and 17 on the changeable conditions, and the Kerryman now will be playing it safe to get it to the finish. Duggan was still third in R5 though in the Fiesta, 39.5 seconds off Josh Moffat's Fiesta.
Turn square right around the bills, 50. 3 left half long, 60, sharp 3 left plus, into 3 right minus.
Callum Devine clipped the bank on stage 15 and was happy to make it back to service in the Fiesta. Devine was still 4th in R5, but was now 1 minute and 11 seconds behind Duggan with 3 stages to go.
First stage out this morning, a wee bit of a small mistake, a wee bit too hot, and she stepped out the back. Just clipped the bank and spun round, but yeah, we're happy. No real drama how the car's going, just a bit of a bumper damage there.
Eugene Donnelly was happy with the setup of the Hyundai on day 3, and he had worked his way up to 5th in the R5 leaderboard with 3 to go. The Genie was fulsome in his praise for this year's Donegal International. He was enjoying it. You bet he was.
Overmoon with the whole crew, the PCRS guys who are local here in Letterkenny, Hyundai and MRF, and all my sponsors, you know. But I think the credit has to go to Donegal Motor Club, to Manus Kelly, fingers crossed, and to the Moffats for putting on some race this evening. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddock were having a steady Donegal rally and lay in 7th overall and 6th behind Donnelly in R5. A huge gap though between the pair. It was just a case of bringing the Fiesta home. Porrick Duffy and Kevin Glynn were also intent on bringing home their Fiesta, 8th overall after 17 and 7th in the R5 standings with stages 18, 19 and the final one, 20 to come.
This is a high calibre event, one of the best events in Europe, so definitely, I'm sure, worth the trip from Portugal.
Yeah, look, we've done 1 or 2 in Portugal and they're good, but nothing in comparison to this. And the 3 days makes it worth your while to take the time off because you're getting the kilometres in, so it's enjoyable.
Paul, you're one man that keeps revisiting the Donegal International Rally. You put such an effort to come here. Why?
Yeah, well, I think the people in Donegal are special. Everybody's out on the roads, waving. They're so friendly, you know. And I think this is the rally of all rallies, really, for clubmen like me. And Donegal is a real special place to visit.
Some of the other competitors in the oversubscribed Donegal Rally were Declan McGrory and Stephen O'Hanlon from Tyrone, newcomers to the R5 class in their Fiesta and inside the top 15 with 3 to run. Isle of Man driver Colin Quirk and co-driver Kane Trainer in their Fiesta had worked their way up the field to 15th in their R5 Fiesta. Problems for Keith Lyons, who is now running in Rally 2 as he was getting used still to his new R5 machine, but he would make it to the finish if somewhat distant due to penalty impositions. And into final service, 3 to go for Manus Kelly. The winning and the losing was now very much in his hands.
Listen, it's a different type of pressure, and we enjoyed that run. Anywhere we had to be cautious, we were cautious, and we're here, and that's the main thing.
Before we find out if Manus Kelly could claim that 3 in a row, we turn to the national section of the rally briefly now, where there was an epic battle between the 2 Darien T90s for the top spot. Local man Kevin Gallagher had to settle for second place behind winner Ian Barrett, whose company Jules sponsors the Donegal International. Barrett would have placed 6th overall in the International, Gallagher 7th. Such was their speed over the weekend. And we'll have much more action from the national section plus all the other classes in our next programme. And so to the top 5 on this year's Donegal International Rally. A terrific weekend for Callum Devine and Brian Hoy on their debut in an R5 Ford Fiesta. 4th in the R5 standings and 5th overall. Brilliant too from Rob Duggan and Ger Conway in their Ford Fiesta R5. 3rd in the R5 standings on debut as well. 40.6 seconds off Josh Moffat in 3rd place. And Josh Moffat finished 2nd on the R5 standings, just slipping away over the remaining stages. He and Andy Hayes, his co-driver, 22.2 seconds off Sam Moffat. Sam Moffat picks up the maximum championship points along with co-driver Carl Atkinson in their Ford Fiesta R5, overtaking Josh Moffat on the final day of the Donegal International and moving them to the head of affairs in the championship standings. Manus Kelly and Donald Barrett had 42.4 seconds to spare on Sam Moffat after a weekend that saw all of the other contenders such as Donald Kelly, Declan Boyle, Darren Gass and Gary Jennings either crash out or retire due to mechanical problems. Kelly has gone on to a 3 in a row in the Melvin Evans Hard WRC at Pretza. And to the victor of the spoils as Kelly and Barrett take the plaudits at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny, and richly deserved it was too.
How do you put this emotion into words? I don't think I've ever seen a homecoming like this. To be here 3 times in a row, you've got to be so proud.
Definitely, Bridge. Like it's a mammoth event. Like it's a real marathon, and I suppose we've just been very lucky this weekend that it's went our way, and we've performed well, and thank God we're here, and that's it.
For Sam Moffat, a win in the R5 Championship class. He's now the new overall leader with 2 rounds, the Ulster and the Cork 20 to come.
Do you know where you made the time up on, Josh, today?
Well, yeah, we went into the first stage this morning. We're both in soft tyres, and I seen a lot of black marks. Josh was leaving rubber behind him, so we tried to play it tidy, and thankfully it worked out. I think we just played a smarter game today.
This the overall standings then. Manus Kelly with a 3 in a row. The leading R5 car. Sam Moffat is new championship leader ahead of Josh Moffat, Rob Duggan and Callum Devine on R5 debut. In the championship, Sam now has a 1-point lead from brother Josh, 57 to 56. Rob Barrable, who didn't finish Donegal, 3rd now on 41 points.
The celebrations are just commencing here for the local crew of Manus Kelly and Donald Barrett, who have made history, taking a hat-trick of wins here in Donegal this weekend. A fantastic achievement. But in the championship, what a battle we saw between, of course, the Moffat brothers again. And Sam Moffat has pipped Josh to the post, taking a 1-point lead in the championship. That battle will recommence in Ulster. But for now, from myself and the rest of the On The Limit Sports crew from the Mount Errigal Hotel, see you soon.